What's up, everyone on YouTube? It's InDriver KG, and today we're going to talk about the 5 things that I love about owning a Hyundai. That's my 2023 Hyundai Elantra N in a 6-speed manual. And again, before we get into it, we got 2 more days before the KDM Cars and Coffee. I'll leave the information right here. If you're in the tri-state area, come on out and join us. Alright guys, so this is my 2023 Hyundai Elantra N. I have owned this one for about 6 months now, and it has been great to me. Before this, I had a 2022, and I was the first in New Jersey to own a Hyundai Elantra N. I'll show the pictures right now. And basically, that car I had for up to 60,000 miles before I got rear-ended. And that car was just awesome. In that car, I had a similar setup to this one. It was a basically bolt-on, so downpipe, intake, inlet, and water meth injection with a N75 tune. Pretty aggressive tune, and at times it was a bit much for that DCT. There was no DCT tuning at the time. Now we do have some DCT tuning starting to get out there, and now that we have the manual, we are at that same aggression, and it is handling it much better to the point that we have the record and actually got into the nines. I'm going to share all of that information in another video, and I'll show you exactly what's going on with this car right now at this point in time, because now this has some more goodies. But I'm excited for that. We're not going to get into that. But how has it been owning this car and owning Hyundai brand in general? So as you can see right now, next to me is not my 2011 Hyundai Azera Limited. As for the parts for that, they're a little hard to get, and that car is at the shop right now getting like this whole thing done on the side, just over a throttle body. But that car has been awesome also. So with this car, the first thing I'm going to say about owning a Hyundai, what's nice about it, what do I love? This car value is amazing. Value is going to be the number one thing I think that makes anyone love this car. So for the money, $34,000, that's what this one cost. You get all of the, let's say, amenities that you would get with other cars, all of those nice options that you would want. We get a nice exhaust from the factory. We get really nice cushion seats. We get really nice seats that light up. We get a 6-speed manual. We get a really nice dashboard that lights up. We get a nice infotainment system that actually runs really well compared to some of this other competitors that's in the same range of this car. But all in all, you get really nice amount of options for the price. It's starting to get a little dark out here, but I'll continue. So when it comes to safety, you get all of the nice safety features that all of the main Elantras come with. The lane keep, the lane assist, you get the regular cruise control. You don't get the radar. That's one of the things that I don't like. But other than that, you get some really nice options. We got heated seats in this thing. You get so much for the money, so much power too, because when you think about it, at $30,000, at that lower 30 in range, most of the cars are at the lower 200 miles, 200 horsepower range. And that's a big thing, because then when you come up and you think of the other competitors, such as Civic Type R, you got the Integra Type S, you have the WRX, you got the GTIs and the Golf Rs. Those are all great cars. Those are all cars that are in this same segment. But This is the cheapest of those few when it comes to having it fully loaded. Like, this car doesn't have many options. There's actually like a few little things that are options for this car, which are like a cargo net in the back and a shopping little hanger that holds your bags. But those are the only options that you get. So when you price up a GTI, that becomes over at 34. When you price up the WRX, that becomes over. The Golf R is already over, I believe, at like 43 or something like that. The Type R is over at 43, 44, if you can find it for that price. And the Type S is around at 50. So you gotta think about it for value. This car is just really good. You get 276, you get about 260 wheel horsepower from the factory, which is okay. That's where it becomes, you're going to want more, but you can enjoy this car the way it is. Next, I'm going to say about owning a Hyundai that I love is the fact that I know I said before, I don't like how the dealerships are, but it is situational. But when it comes down to it, this car does have an amazing warranty. As long as you know the ins and outs, and let's say you got a good relationship with your dealership, everything will be taken care of if you're modded. If you're stock, you should have no issues. It's not as bad as like some of the things that I've seen with Toyota lately. Some of the things that I've heard from Honda, it's not as bad as that. When you're stock car, it's very easy to get things situated and taken care of with this car. The warranty is 10-year, 100,000 mile. Certain dealerships do offer a lifetime on the engine and transmission only, which is really nice. That's a really nice extra. First car that we got, that one did have it. This one does not have the lifetime warranty on it of the engine and trans, but that is okay. But the warranty on this thing is just great. Some dealerships still have rental cars, so if you got to get something done, you can call ahead of time and ask them if they got rental cars if you have to get something done. Like I did say before on a later video, that sometimes these things are hit or miss, but chances of you getting a bad one is very, very low. I was very lucky with the first one. That car gave me no issues. I did have actually an issue with the fuel injector, but got that situated really fast, and that was just showing the first time how fast and how good Hyundai could be when it comes to replacing parts on a stock car. When you're modified, it's a little different, a little more trickier, but you get the gist. So number 2, definitely going to give it to warranty. So number 3, we got the surprise factor of having a Hyundai. What I mean by that is a lot of people still don't know what the Hyundai Elantra N is, or the inline, or any Elantra for that matter. A lot of people are like, what car is that? What kind of car? I've never seen that. And they see the big Hyundai symbol and they're like, oh, is that a Sonata? Is that a Tucson or something? You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny and kind of fun at the fact that people don't know what it is, and when they see it, and I'm like, oh, it's a Elantra N, and they say inline. No, N, but there are inlines out there. There's nothing wrong with those cars either, and they're just like, wow, those cars actually look good, especially with the 2024 update. A lot of people love the way that car looks, and I think the front end like refresh was just like perfect. So especially when I roll up to car meets and people see the interior and they see those seats light up for the first time, they're like, whoa, could I see that interior? Look at that dashboard, look at all these buttons and stuff. Like, it's really nice. The surprise element is really, really cool. And the fact that when we stick with other cars and we have like these little bit of mods, it's just so nice when people get out like, whoa, that thing is actually moves pretty well. So it's just a nice factor of surprise, and the surprise element is really cool when it comes to this car. When you think about it, look at all of Hyundai's and Kia's lineup. Their cars look unlike anything else on the road. I seen an EV9 for the first time not too long ago, and I was blown away. That thing looks amazing. The Santa Fe looks great. Like, it almost looks like their version of like a G-Wagon and Range Rover mixed together. Like, think about it. Then you got their Tucson that's always looked good. The Sonata in line, well, all of the Sonatas for that matter look great. Like, it looks good. I like that Tron look to it, almost Stormtrooper like. And they're going in that direction of like the cross headlights. Like, I'm really digging that, and I'm thinking they're doing a good job with that. Number 4. That's for those guys that want to actually mod their car. You can really get some power out of these things. And numbers aren't everything. I think everyone knows that. Weight is like one of the biggest factors of modding and racing, drag racing, track racing, any of that. Weight is big. When I tell you these cars take little to no mods to be quick, and I'm talking about the N and the N line. When it comes to cars in their segment, the same type of cars, you got to think about it. The Civic Si versus an inline, right? They make around the same horsepower stock. But once you get mods in those cars, I'm pretty sure that's a good race. And the Hyundai is going to be right there. Now, 25 years ago, if you would have said people were going to be out here modding Hyundais like that, I would have been like, oh, well, what kind of Tiburon do they have out now? You know, it's just interesting how far the brand has come. But when you think about it, an Elantra that goes from 260 wheel horsepower stock, right? You throw in a downpipe, you throw in some MEF injection in a tune, and you can be at 400. You don't need the downpipe, but just tune. Interesting. Like, we live in that downpipe tune world. We live in a downpipe tune timing, and it's just really nice that these cars can make that type of power. And other cars, when you think about it, I mean, if you want to fight me about it, you can. I'm always up for a good race, but you got the GTI, right? I still haven't found a GTI with MEF injection, but I'd be willing to think that this car would do really good against a MEF injection downpipe tune GTI. I think we will win that. I also was looking on Draggy for like trying to put the mods together. Also thinking about the Type R. Now, I've ran a MEF full bolt-on Type R and definitely beat that out. And you know, when it comes to other cars, you got to give Hyundai credit. So when I was sitting there putting the numbers together, I was trying to put all of the cars that's in the same segment as the Elantra N with the same mods. So when you think about it, how many people can get to a certain number? How many people have to be max effort? How many people have to like know the tuner? My goal was to see what these Elantra N's can do, whereas anyone can buy a tune online and get the same numbers. Not so much on skill, but more on a like just chilling. You can go out and get those times. That's where I was trying to figure out like where's the average here. So from what I seen when it comes to stage 2, because that's where we're going to go at, most of the GTIs that I found that were on stage 2 were averaging anywhere between on a high end 13.5 to around a 12.9, I believe, 60 to 130. Now, there are some that are going to be quicker. There are some that's going to be slower. It depends on if they have ethanol in their car, but we're just going on 93 for right now. No MEF, none of that, just stage 2, downpipe, intake, you know, smaller things like that. Average on the Elantra N is going to be around a 12.7, a 12.0 from what I saw, stage 2. So that's pretty decent. Again, that's just the average. When it was the Type R, It was a little sporadic, as some of them are a lot. It's a lot of them in like 14 range, but a good range of them were lower end. So definitely like that higher 12 area. So they're all going to be around the same thing, but it's just interesting that Hyundai said, "Oh well, come on, BMW guy, and his friends that are in these other companies that make power, have these high-end cars. They come over here and they start working magic." So it's just interesting to see the difference between. Not saying that the Elantra N is better than, but for the value, for the price, it's really hard to look elsewhere. Because if you ask me, if I had all the money, I still would go Elantra N. I really, really like the way the Type S looks. The Integra Type S, to me, that's like, that's it. That's that car, man. Like it looks great, but for the price, I don't know if I like it that much. I wish for that much money it would have came with the V6. I believe that's a V6 twin turbo. That would have been a little bit more like, okay, V6 twin turbo with the stick shift. That would have made it, I feel like, there. But again, they had to keep that K20 going. So I think just that where you can mod it, where you could have it, for me, that is a win. And that's one thing I absolutely love. And that's what brought me back. Because I could have definitely went Mustang, could have went GT 350 route, could have went the Camaro route, or whatever other cars I was looking at, the RS3. That is another whole league of car. But I came back to an Elantra for a reason. The number 5 reason why I'm starting to love Hyundai is the community, the people. I meet a lot of different Hyundai people and Kia people all the time, even Genesis, and a lot of you guys out there are just some of the coolest in this car community that I've met. Now, I've been a part of many different groups. I've owned many different cars. I'm pretty sure I've owned one of each car brand out there, except for like the super high-end luxury ones. But just the amount of help that some of you guys give is just really cool, and it makes it really it makes me honored to be a part of this KDM community. I noticed there is a lot of battle of the tuners for no reason. At the end of the day, we just got to be thankful that there are people out there willing to go the extra mile and find out what we can get out of these cars. But man, you guys, I love you guys. If I had a question, or if I had to help somebody, anything, you guys are just there. You're there to help people. I'm part of the Facebook group of just Hyundais, just Kias, just Elantras, just N models, N line models, and just the amount of people willing to help others is just insane. And there is a very small amount of let's just say toxicity in the group. Now, like I said before, there are a bunch of people who really think strongly of some of the tuners, but above that, the car brand, the people, it makes it worth having this car and really just sharing my journey that I have with this car. Me hopping into this Hyundai and to getting a record of 60 to 130 for stock turbo, that's awesome, all well and good, but a lot of you people out there are just really cool, and that's where I want to get to the bottom of it. I'm just a regular guy, just trying to see what we can get out of these Hyundais, what I can get out of any other car brand that I'm in, but the Hyundais have been special. So again, thank you guys for listening. When it came to the other video of finding out what I hate about the brand, I really didn't have too much. Those were kind of nitpicky, and you know, this owning this car has been a joy. Every time I get out of this Hyundai, I am just smiling. Even today, I went for my drive, did what I had to do, and getting out of this car, I look back at it, I'm like, man, that car is fun. This car is fun. I don't even have to be full throttle to have fun. You don't even have to be going 100% throttle through a turn to really enjoy it. So I am going to end the video on that on a good note. And just remember, if you have any questions about anything that has to do with this car, anything that has to do with anything, if I can help, I will try and get you guys an answer. I do try and pay attention to all of my comments and answer them, so just bear with me on that. And follow me on Instagram. It is InDriverKG, the same thing. If you like to see some of my future content, just subscribe to the channel, helps her out. And if you could like it and join me for the next bunch of videos that I got lined up, we are going to get this car on the drag strip, and I got a big surprise for you guys, so look out for it. Thanks for watching.